And welcome. This is our Tuesday 11 o'clock class. We are in book number 200. And our songs for today are A Time for Us, and we will also look into Top of the World. There's actually more to teach in Top of the World. A Time for Us was in one of our Lowry songbooks a while back, so a lot of you probably remember all of that already. Okay. Also, if you know anybody who would like to get started with making music, you have a neighbor, a friend, this afternoon at 2:30, yours truly is teaching the Conductor Magic class on Zoom. And they can get there by going to our website, which is fletchermusic.com. Pretty soon, all of the classes will be on the website. I don't think mine are up yet. Mine are scheduled, but I don't think they're posted yet. But that's going to be another way for you to get into class, is to just go to the website and go to the villages and go to Dawn's classes, and it should tell you day by day what's going on. And the link will be right there, and all you have to do is click on it for getting into the class. So, and basically that's to save Robert some time so he does not have to schedule all of the emails 3 hours before each class, and then everybody can just go to the website. So go to the website now and start getting used to it. Start getting used to it, because that's going to be the way to get into classes. But what's really cool is that everybody will be able to take everybody else's classes. So if you want to take some of Carrie's classes, you can click into Port Charlotte. If you want to take some of Sean's classes, you can click into Mesa. So, just have a good time with all of that. All right, here we go with our first song. A Time for Us is a waltz, and it does come up on smooth piano 3/4. Any waltz is going to work. And about, I didn't even write down how fast. About 72 beats per minute. And we'll talk a little bit about sounds. Let's find out a little bit about what this song is about. A Time for Us is also known as the love theme from Romeo and Juliet. And I don't know if you remember that film. It came out when? 1969? No. Yes. It was originally written by Nino Rota for the film Romeo and Juliet, starring Leonard Whiting and Olivia Hussey, and it was rearranged by Henry Mancini and was a #1 hit in the U.S. during the year 1969. Okay. Now, in Romeo and Juliet, it was also known as What is a Youth? So it has two different sets of lyrics. Henry Mancini's version topped the Billboard Hot 100 singles on June 28th of 69 and remained there for 2 weeks. Did you know that that is Mr. Mancini's only top 10 single on Billboard 100? Now, I know he wrote a bunch for other people that made it on the Billboard 100, but him himself playing, that was his only single. The song had to compete with rock and roll songs on the radio, because let's face it, who was out in 69? The Beatles, the Rolling Stones, all that rock and roll stuff. This is definitely not a rock and roll song. So how is it going to chart? Well, some radio announcer in Orlando, Florida decided to include it in the mix along with the rock and roll songs, and it caught on. And it actually ended a 5-week run of Get Back by the Beatles as the top song. So sometimes these wonderful show tunes get mixed in, and it's a wonderful thing. The release also topped the easy listening chart for 8 weeks. It was also recorded by Andy Williams, Johnny Mathis, and Stevie Wonder, believe it or not. Who knew? Who knew? But it is a beautiful song. As far as extra chords, guess what?
0.
There are none.
Wow.
There are none. The chords that are here are the chords as they are. So this is going to be just an easy song for us to learn. As far as sounds, the song setup brought up orchestral and guitars. Now, I like to go to the category setups and look for the around the world setups and get some Renaissance sounds like recorders and lutes and things like that. And that kind of brings it more into the time of Shakespeare. So the second time I play it, I'm going to use some lutes or I'm sorry, I'm going to use the recorders that are on around the world, and it's on the lower. Oops, it's over here. Isn't that pretty? That sounds, and it sounds like that Renaissance period. So that would be a very beautiful sound for A Time for Us. Or if you don't have a recorder, and you all know what a recorder is, we played them in grade school. It was the long flute, the long wooden flute with the holes in it that we played like this. A regular flute would be fine. A pan flute would also work if you have smaller instruments. But before I give you the fingering, here is A Time for Us on song setup, smooth piano 3/4 at 72. Please be so kind as to mute yourselves, and I will play A Time for Us. Oh, the drama. Okay, so what did you notice? What did I do?
Use the harp?
Yes, I added a golden harp. Very good. Good ears, good listening. The golden harp I added on the last line of page 1, the second to the last measure, right? When you go back into a time for us at last to see. That's more like the bridge of the song. Okay, another question. What key is this song in, and why is it important for us to know? We are in the
Looks
key.
like A minor.
A minor, very good, very good. It's A minor, it's the last chord. So many times we just check out that first chord and play that first chord as the introduction. Always double check to make sure that it's also your last chord. If it's not, it's probably your last chord. And it sounded really nice. That's what I used, an A minor, to start the song. If you need to remind yourself, put a little note at the top of your song, intro in A minor. And that'll help because that will set the tone of the song. You want to set that minor tone. You want to set the tempo. So use your A minor as your introduction. All right, let's talk about fingering. And fingering
Daun,
again.
Daun,
Yes.
question.
Okay, Ken.
You start to sing that the way it's written,
Uh-huh.
not the way it's sung. A time for us.
No, not necessarily. Because
Well,
I did this. I
I've heard
did this
sing it.
in the. I did this in the show, Ken, and I used the lyrics "What is a youth?" because we did Romeo and Juliet way back in high school, about 3 years ago. Yeah. And I actually stood behind a screen, and it was during the wedding of Romeo and Juliet. They did a secret wedding, and I stood behind a screen and sung "What is a youth?" So if you think about it in those terms, it's not necessarily that way. Now, if you're listening to Andy Williams or somebody else
Yeah.
that sings it, it's possible that they're sliding off one of the notes. So now, this is always, what advice do I give you? This is easy play. You use the notes as a guide and play it the way you remember it being sung. So if you have to mess up the timing a little bit, just make sure it still coincides with your background. So if you remember it being sung where you have to do a little slide or you're going to sit on time, you could, if you wanted to put a little fermata over time, go ahead and do that. Just make sure that when you come in on the E for us, it's on the first beat of the measure. Okay, so that's called being an arranger.
Yeah, you go from the B to the E quick.
Yeah, you can, yeah, absolutely. You can make it however it works for you. Just make sure that you come in on the E for us on the first beat of the measure.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's do some fingering. A3, C5, B4, E1, E1, G2, E1, A3, A3, G2, F1, G2, G2, F1, E3 with a circle, you're going to cross it over, D2, excuse me, D2, E3, D2, C1, D2, E3, check mark. Lift your hand. Take a little breath with your hand. A3, C5, B4. Third line, E1, E1, G2, E1, A3. Little check mark if you want. That next A quarter note can either be a 2 or a 3. I actually like it being a 2. That way you can reach up to the D very easily with the 5. If you want to keep your 3 on that A, that's okay. D5, B3, E1, C5, B4, A3, G2. C5, B4, A3, G2, A3, check mark. Take another breath. Now, you're also going to hit your golden harp at that time, so that's where you want to add the golden harp. If you decide to add it at all. C2, E4, C2, D3, E4, F5, D3, E4, C2, D3, B flat 2, C4. You might want to put a little arrow on that one. Don't put a 3 on it. Well, you could. It doesn't matter. But I think it works better with a 4. A2, B3, G1, A2, check mark. You're at the end of a sentence. Now you're going to start the fingering exactly the way you did it at the beginning of the song. A3, C5, B4, E1, E1, G2, E1, A3, A3, G2, F1, G2, G2, F1, E3 with a circle, you're crossing it over, D2, E3, D2, C1, D2, E3, check mark. Take a breath, lift your hand. A3, C5, B4, E1, E1, G2, E1, A3. The next A can either be a 3 or a 2, whichever one works better for you. D5, last line, B3, E1, C5, B4, A3, G2, C5, B4, A3, G2, and A3. Yeah, we had this one in one of our songbooks. So this should be a nice review for everybody. I'm going to play it one more time. If you'd like to play along with me, make sure you're muted. Make sure you're close to your organ. One hand at a time is all you need. But I am going to feature the recorders on the lower keyboard of going to my category preset around the world. And I believe it was category preset number 1 gave me lutes on the top and recorders on the bottom, which absolutely gives it that Renaissance feeling.
Where was that? Did you put that in, Dawn?
I'm going to play the whole song with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to play the whole song with some different sounds, and you can intersperse them with the sounds that were given to you on the song setup. Just make sure that you have everything pre-recorded into presets so you can go back and forth between them. So if I start to get sick of my pan flute or my recorder, excuse me, I can go back to number 1 and go back to my orchestrals and guitars if I feel like it, because I've already recorded it into my presets. All right, so let's do, again, A minor is the introduction. One, two, three, 1, 2. The golden harp. Pretty song. Pretty song. Nothing too challenging though, but so try going to your category presets and going to your golden harp and just adding that. Now, Top of the World is a little different story. How are we doing on time? Perfect. Perfect, because this one is what, 6 pages? It's
Oh
6
my.
pages. Yeah, I know, but if you look at how it's spread out, they've got 4 lines spread out. You know, they could have put 5 lines on a page. They didn't. They spread it out so it would fit evenly. Now, this is a song, and you know this because it was 1972. It was composed by Richard Carpenter and John Bettis, and it was recorded by the Carpenters. They're pretty much the only ones that really remember the song by. Originally, it was only supposed to be an album cut. I couldn't read my writing here. It was supposed to be an album cut. So they just were going to throw this into the mix on an album. And it ended up being a single. It was a Billboard Hot 100 hit for 2 consecutive weeks in 1973. Country singer Lynn Anderson, she's the one who actually covered the song for her studio album, Top of the World. And that reached number 2 on the U.S. country singles chart. Now, because Lynn Anderson was so successful with it, the Carpenters actually decided, we wrote it, we should release it as a single. So that's when all their success with it came to be. So that's what happened, and it's the version that we now know as Top of the World by the Carpenters. But if you want to go back and check out Lynn Anderson's, just see how she did it differently. I did add some extra chords to this one. Normally with country music, you don't, but this is a crossover. It's 1970s pop music that crossed over into the country genre, so I am going to add a few extra chords because the original sheet music calls for it. All right, so here we go. The first page. The top line, second measure. You have a C chord and a C7. Cross out the C7. Just play the C. And that's good for 2 beats. Beat 3 over the D for over. Put a B flat, butterfly flat. Line 2. Third measure. Over the C quarter note for wonder. Put an A minor, alligator minor. Line 3. Cross out the C and the C7 and replace it with G minor, gorilla minor, which is G and B flat for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the B flat for thing. Now put your C or C7 back in. That's good for that page. Let's go to the second page. Cross out the F at the top of the page and replace it with A minor, alligator minor. Second measure, over the A for eyes. You see how spread out those notes are? They could have put 4 measures up there. Over the A for eyes, D, dog, or dog 7, or dinosaur 7, which is C and D. Second line, G minor, you might want to put a 7 on it. You don't have to. G minor is G and B flat. The G minor 7 is F, G, and B flat. Okay, now I'm going to give you an optional chord. Second line, second measure. Over the B flat for prized. If you wish, you may put in a G minor 7 flat the 5th. Ah, it's a 4-fingered chord. It sounds gorgeous. D flat, F, G, B flat. Dog flat, fish, gorilla, butterfly flat. Got it? Or just stay on G minor 7, but I think you're going to like how that new chord sounds. It's pretty cool. Okay, third line, you have a C. On the top, you have a C7. Cross out the C7. Now, we're going to change the C to a C sus. C, S-U-S. It's a suspended 4th chord. It is C, F, and G all at the same time. And it's a hanging chord. And it sounds like this. Let's just do easy here. Here's a C. Here's a C sus. And then back to the C. Okay, so that second measure over that whited in whole note, you're going to have 3 chords. Beat 1 is a plain old C, chicken. Beat 3 is a B flat, butterfly flat. And beat 4 is back to a C chord. And then go on to the F. Let's go to the line 4. You have a C chord at the beginning and a C7 on top. Play the C, cross out the C7. Just play plain old C. Beat 3 over the D quarter note for the word world. Put in a B flat, butterfly flat. All right, let's turn the page. Is now coming true. Top line, second measure. Over the C for coming, put an A minor. C and A. Chickens and alligators. Second line, cross out the C and replace it with G minor, gorilla minor, which is G and B flat, for 2 counts. Over the B flat, in beat 3, put your C or C7 back in. Let's go to the last line on that page. Second measure, cross out the F chord over the word cause and replace it with A minor, alligator minor. C and A. Let's go to the next page. See how fast this goes when it's all spread out? Top line, first measure over the A for here. D, dinosaur, or D7, which is C and D. The G minor, you may put a 7 on it. F, G, B flat.
Thank you.
The second line over the B flat for heaven, here's that optional chord. G minor, 7, flat, 5. Ooh, no. D flat, F, G, B flat. So if you're on a G minor 7, F, G, and B flat, just put your pinky down on the D flat. Ooh, is that pretty? Yeah. G minor 7, just put your pinky down on the D flat, and that'll make the G minor 7 flat 5. So it's easier to play actually than it is to write. Second measure of the second line. You have a C and a C7. Cross out the C7. We're going to change the C to a C sus. C suspended fourth. C, F, and G. All three notes at the same time. That's a hanging chord, and usually it has to go back to the root position, which would be plain old C. So line 3, beat 1 over that quarter rest, over the squiggly line, plain old C for 2 counts. Over the F for on, beat 3, put a B flat, butterfly flat. Over the G for the, plain old C. And that's it for that page. Turn the page. Okay. Second line. First measure, cross out the C and the C7. We're going to replace it with G minor, gorilla minor, for 2 counts. G and B flat. Beat 3 over the B flat for I. Now put your C7 back in.
Dawn,
Yes.
the eighth edition has different layout, so I can't. So that
Uh-oh.
last C that you said, can you tell me the word that you were on? That helps.
Okay. The line before was, and the only exploit. The measure I'm on now is nation I can.
Okay.
Okay, got it? Got the right measure
the
now?
The one I just missed, that C, was that over nation?
Nope, nope. The C was over the B flat for the word I. My apologies, I didn't realize the layout was different.
B flat for the word I.
Over nation, you want to put
Okay.
over nation, you want to put G minor.
G minor. Okay.
G minor goes over nation, C7 goes over I.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Then the F is good for 1 measure. The next measure, over that whited in half note, you're still holding the C. F7, which is E flat and F. The next measure, B flat, is fine. Over the word found. Third line, measure 2, found ever. Cross out the C7, just play plain old C. Since you've been around, your loves put me at the. Those 3 measures, no changes.
Okay.
All right, the measure before the first ending. See where we are? Top of the. Right before the first ending. Cross out the C and replace it with G minor, gorilla minor, and then over the F for of. Now put your C back in. Let's go down to the instrumental. I hope you have that because we're going to use it as the intro. We're going to use it as an interlude, and we're going to use it for the ending as well. So when we get to the da 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 da, those 4 measures are going to be used for those 3 things. So
You got it.
in the measure that in what I have, over the A dotted quarter note, beat 1, put an F, Over the B flat, beat 3, put a B flat. Over
No,
the
it's Judy. Can you
A,
get her?
Who?
It's Judy.
over the A dotted quarter note, put an F. Over the B flat quarter note, beat 3, go back to a B flat. You're just toggling between F and B flat chord. Over the A dotted quarter note, do an F. Over the B flat quarter note, put a B flat. And at the last measure, it will be F, C, F. Now, that's only going to be for the ending. When you're doing it as an intro, you're not going to play those last two notes. And you're not going to play C going back to F. You're going to play a C7 so you can go back to the beginning of the song. It'll feel right to you. Don't worry too much about it. If you end up playing this and go back to the beginning, it's going to be all right. Not that big of a deal. So I'm going to play this.
Can you go through that again, Dawn?
The last four measures of the song?
The instrumental.
Yeah, the last four measures of the song would be A. You're going to have two chords per measure. Over the A, F. Beat 3 over the B flat, B flat. Same thing in the next measure. Over the A, dotted quarter note, F, fish. Over the B flat quarter note, beat 3, B flat. Same thing in the next measure. Over the A, F. Over the B flat, beat 3, B flat. The last measure is over the A, F. Over the E, C, chicken, and over the F, F. But you're going to see that you're not going to want to play those last two notes when you're doing the introduction. You might want to play a C note instead and a C7 chord. Okay, let me see if I actually copied those. I did. Good.
Dawn,
Yes.
what tempo do you play this and what do you use?
Aha. Aha. That is actually very good. I thought I pre-recorded this. Where is it? I guess I didn't. I thought I had memorized this. I guess I didn't. Oh, well. Okay. Roadside Cafe minus the orchestra plus at between 160 and 170 miles an hour. How's that?
Oh,
Ooh, or country swing. Now, if you have a smaller instrument, you have the Roadhouse Cafe, which is country full band. You can also use country guitarist. And if you've got a Freedom 3 country acoustic is very good. But those are the ones that give you, and I'm going to show you it, you need this bass. This bass line is the one that really works the best. Okay. And country guitars. And it comes up with a country harmony. Now, what you want to do is you want to just reach up and turn your country harmony off because we're going to add it later. And we're going to take out the orchestra plus. And your intro, see, this is what you want. All you want is that bass line. Boom, 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 boom. And then you've got that guitar strumming in between. Now that's up at 128, so I'm going to make the tempo. There we go. Right in between. 165 is right in between there. Now I'm going to play those last two lines. And then when you're on a C7 chord, you can use this if you want, or you can do a drum solo, which is a no chord, and when you're ready to play the song, you just go into it. Here's where you want to go up and touch your more button because it's on country harmony. Country harmony is important because it gives you the harmony on top of the melody note. If you don't have that, go ahead and put in a duet. First ending. Now we're going to put in a little interlude. Guess what the interlude is? It's that beginning part of, it's that those two lines that we did at the end of the song. Back to the beginning. Second ending. And then if you want to push your ending button, you can do so. If you just want to fade it out, you may do that as well. This one moves. This one moves. But did you see how fast the song went? It's 6 pages. I played it twice. It went fast. Yeah, this one really moves. But that's because they've spread out the notes. You know, they've only got 2 measures in a line. They could have squeezed it all together and done it on fewer pages, but they decided not to. That's okay. It makes it easier to read this way. Country swing also works very well on this, but again, keep that tempo up. But while you're starting, make sure that you slow it down just a little bit so your fingers get a chance to catch up. Okay, let's go back and do some fingering.
Can I have a question, please?
Okay.
I missed something because the layout's different.
Oh,
On
okay.
the phrase, there is wonder in the most everything.
Mm-hmm.
On everything, there's a C7. What do I
Yes.
do there?
You're going to cross out the C7 and replace it with G minor,
Oh,
gorilla minor, for 2 counts, and then over the B flat for thing. Now you're going to put the C7 back in.
thank you.
You're very welcome. I did not realize that. I should have known. I should have figured it out.
Yeah.
But the
We
layouts,
just have 4 pages.
yeah, see, they squeezed it all together for you. Yep.
Yes, yes.
Yep. So if anybody struggles with that, and you like the song, because this is a great song, and you need to come in and see me, or you need me to email you the pages, let me know so I can do that for you. But I forgot, I should have figured that. All right, let's do some fingering. Such a feeling's coming over me. Be back to the beginning. C1, A5, G4, F3, E2, F3, D1. E can either be 2 or 3, whichever one feels more comfortable. C1. Okay, the next phrase, there is wonder in most everything I see. A2, B flat 3, C4, 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 A2, G1, A2, B flat 3, G1, A3. Check mark. No, I'm sorry. Why do I have an A3? That should be an A2. A2. I'm sorry. My bad. No check mark. B flat 3, C4. Cloud is a D5, D5. B flat 3, G1. G1, high D5. The word sun, sun in my eyes, C4. B flat 3, C4, A2, G1, A2. Next line, won't be surprised. B flat 3, B flat 3, A2, B flat 3, A2, G1, F3, circle it, there's a crossover. Low C1 for dream. The next phrase, everything I want the world to be. C1, A5, G4, F3, E2, F3, D1. The next E can be a 2 or a 3, whichever one's more comfortable, and the C is a 1. All right, those of you that have a page turn, the next phrase is now coming true. A2, B flat 3, C4, 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 A2. G1, A2, B flat 3, D5, C4. And the reason, B flat 3, C4, D5, D5, B flat 3. The word clear is a G1. G1, high D5, C4, B flat 3, C4. Next page for this edition, here, A2, you're the nearest. G1, A2, B flat 3, B flat 3, B flat 3. To heaven is A2, B flat 3, A2, G1, F3 with a circle, you're crossing it over. C1. Next phrase, I'm on the. C1, F2, G3. A4, A4, A4. B flat 5, A4, G3, F2, D4, D4, D4. If you're turning the page, go for it. If not, we're on Asian and the only. E flat 5, D4, C3, B flat 2, A1. C3, C3, A1. Nation I can find. G2, circle it, it's a crossover. A3, B flat 4, D5, C4. B flat 2, C1, circle it, it's a thumb tuck. Love that I've found. D2, C1, D2, E3, D2, E3. Since you've been around, F4, 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 C1, D2, C1, B flat 3, circle it, you're crossing it over. A2, C4, B flat 3, A2, top of the G1, F2, circle it, it's a crossover. E1, first ending world F2. Don't forget, you want to insert those last two lines before you go back to the beginning of the song. Let's go to the second ending. F2 for the word world. Your instrumental is B flat 3, A2, G1, and now you get to the dun, da, 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 dun, da, da, da. That's A2, A2, B flat 3, G1, A2, A2, B flat 3, G1, A2, A2, B flat 3, G1, A2, E4, F5. You could actually just keep doing dum da da dum dum da da dum dum da da dum dum da da dum, then do a fill in, and then go back and start it again if you want. So use those as the in-betweens, use it as the beginning, use it as the end, use it as the interlude in between. And if you listen to the original with Karen Carpenter singing, I think you'll hear that that's in between the verses. Try your country harmony. I love country harmony because it puts the harmony note on top. Okay, you hear it? If I'm using a duet, that puts the harmony note on the bottom and it's going to sound a little bit different. And it's okay, because some of you don't have country harmony. But if you have it, it's going to be in the More button under your harmony. And look for it and press country and listen to how nice it sounds on a country-themed song. It really does make a difference. All right, let's try this now on, I'm going to freeze the tempo, and we're going to put it on country swing. Country swing, and we're going to keep it at 165. Now it brings up country guitars. I'm going to make sure that the country, oh, it set it up different. I want to make sure that the country harmony is set to go so that when I get to that part, I can throw it in. All right, so here we go with country swing. Oh, let's take those out. Again, take off the Orc Plus. You don't want those whiny guitars. You just want the beat. Here's where you want to go in and add that More button. Now do your da-da-da-das. And if you wanted to go to the lower keyboard, it would give you something a little different. You can do gliding. And you can just fade it out, or you can put the ending on, whichever one you like. This one is fun to play. Now, you can make it as country and twangy as you like by adding, you could just throw in the Orchestra Plus and add some of those twangy things. Bending your, doing your glides for your guitars, that's going to add a twangy country feel. Or keep it more pop-oriented by just playing the notes as they are, and or using different sounds even. So you are the arranger. You can make this pretty much however you like, but try some of your different harmonies, and I want you to listen for what that country harmony does for those guitars. It adds the harmony note to the top, and that's something that the only other one that I know of that does that is the barbershop harmony. So someday we'll do a class on what the different harmonies actually do, but listen to them and see, because they all sound just a little different and they give you a little different flavor. And depending on the sound you're using is also going to depend on which harmony gets used. And what we're so lucky is that our rhythm presets are going to put up most of the ones that are good in automatically for you. Okay. How are we doing on time? Perfect. What are we going to do next week? Okay, we've got Unchained Melody, which we've done, and Unforgettable. Let's do, you want to do 2 next week?
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, now tell me if your editions have it or don't have it. Unchained Melody and Unforgettable.
I have both.
Both of them are in pretty much all the editions?
Yep.
We are
Very
both
cool.
in
They're
eighth.
in 200.
Okay, all right.
8th edition has both.
Okay, perfect. We'll do both of those next week. Because Unchained, we did also, like a time for us, we already did it in the Lowry songbooks. So that one should not be too involved. And then Unforgettable, we'll do some fun things with that. We can see what we can do.
Good.
All right. Any questions before we go?
Yeah, Dawn, I don't have Unforgettable in my book.
Okay,
Is it in another book? Or?
Yeah.
It should be in other books. Check and see. I don't know right offhand. If you're not sure, and you don't have it, shoot me an email and I'll be more than happy to scan it over to you. Not a problem.
I kind of remember doing it before, so it must be in something else.
Dawn,
yeah.
it's in 200, 4th edition.
4th edition? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, that's the problem with Hal Leonard. They keep putting out new editions and changing everything up. They just want you to keep buying books, I guess.
They could have made it a 201 and a half or a 200.
Yeah, they could have. Yeah, they could have, but no, let's make it hard. I
Yep.
know. You
Fine.
guys- What, Ken?
There's a EY session at 1 o'clock today.
Yes, there
Yep.
is. Yes,
The
there is.
Rialto and Inspire, and
Yes.
is that going to be any conflict with what you're doing tomorrow?
Nope, not one bit.
Okay.
Not one bit. Nope. So people that have the Rialto, the Inspire, the Journey, they want to come and join me for answering questions. As a matter of fact, if I have time, I want to peek in on what's going on with the Rialto or the EY session today, so that I can answer any questions that you guys will have tomorrow for me.
Good.
Because sometimes
when-
just looking at it and getting hands-on also makes a big difference.
And when's the workshop for the Palladium?
The workshop for the Palladium and the Imperial is Thursday at 10
Thursday.
o'clock, and that is in store. That is in store. So bring your masks. Both of those are in store workshops. I'm allowed to have up to 10 people, but if we can't be socially distanced, please just bring your masks so that we're following protocol. I know how some of you feel about them, but it's not my company, so I have to follow the rules.
Dawn,
Yes.
FYI, Unforgettable is also in book 160,
Ooh, okay. Grammy, that's the Grammy book.
231,
Nice, okay.
and my eyes, 83.
283, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Perfect.
They stick it in every book.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem with Hal Leonard, too. You buy a couple of books and you get the same song over and over again.
Hey, Dawn. Dawn,
Yeah.
did you ever do Stormy Weather?
Did I ever sing it or did I ever
No, did
do
you
it?
ever do the chords for Stormy
Yes.
Weather?
Yes. Do you need them?
Yeah.
Shoot me an email, I'll find it.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, we did that one.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, because I got it open to that and I said, oh, there's no new chords in there. didn't-
Oh,
I
think
thought we had done it, yeah,
Yeah,
but I
yep,
couldn't find my book at the time.
okay. No, shoot me an email and I'll be sure to scan it over to you. No
All
problem.
right, thank you, hon.
Okay, not a problem.
All
You
right.
guys are the awesomest, you're the bestest, and it is time to say bye. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Ciao, everybody.
Bye-bye, Dawn. Thank you.
Thank you for
You're
everything.
welcome.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you too. Bye.